Hi, so today I'm gonna sort of kindly critique my first ever video and show you sort of the things that I did wrong. I'm not gonna be mean to myself. I didn't know what I was doing. It's just for fun, and it's still just sort of for fun. But yeah, with art even, I wasn't trying to improve. I was just drawing what I wanted to draw and not really thinking about it. Which is a fine way, but if you want to make art your career, you're gonna have to start trying to improve with, anatomy and shading and what have you. But yeah, I'm just gonna critique it because, I don't know, I just thought it might be a fun video to make, and I could also show you sort of how my setup is now and what programs I use. So let's start with that. I use Procreate for drawing. Sometimes I use Medibang Paint Pro. I'm just more used to Medibang Paint Pro, as you can see in my first video. That's the program I was using, except now I use it on my iPad with my Apple Pencil. I believe that I have the 7th generation iPad. I might be wrong about that. I don't know. Regardless, I use iMovie to edit. iMovie has a pretty basic setup. It doesn't have a lot of amazing features, but it's easy to use, and so if you have access to it, I think you should use it. The program I used in my first video was Filmora, and there was a huge watermark throughout the whole video on the front. I can understand why a free program should have a watermark, but I don't think that's where the watermark should be. Huge right in the middle, it's really annoying, makes people not want to use their programs. But Filmora does have a really nice setup too. I'm not very experienced in video editing at all, but for me it was pretty easy to get the hang of with Filmora, so I do think it's a good program. I just don't like how they use their watermark. I understand having one, but just, it's too big, it's too much. So let's start critiquing maybe the other stuff about the video and talking more about that. So I think the worst thing about my old video, I had a lot of old videos that I just never posted. So my old videos is that I decided to only use copyrighted music, not even one copyrighted song, but I would use Dodie Clark songs and songs from Hamilton, because that was the music I liked and I didn't think about that. So I don't remember if I put credit. I can probably look. I think I did, but if I didn't, I'm sorry. And yeah, so now I use the music that is just on iMovie, and there's some good songs on there for just the background of your videos, or while speed paint is happening. They're good to have on, because it's kind of boring watching a video with no sound, but at the same time, you can't use your favorite songs most of the time. It just depends. So that's the first complaint I probably have. The second one is probably gonna have to be her anatomy. I'm still pretty bad at anatomy, and I'm using more of a cartoon anatomy. It's definitely not realistic, I know that. However, certain things, like her breasts look really weird. That's really not how breasts look. Her nose is really weird shaped. You'll see that in a second here. Her hair, I get that it was kind of hard for me to separate it into bits, because it still is, but just a few different strands, just think of it in sections, I guess. Just a few little things like that. There's I didn't really know a lot about fashion, still don't, but I especially then, I didn't know a lot about fashion, and so most of the outfits were exactly like the one you're seeing. And I just have to talk about that watermark again. That's such an annoying thing. And you see an example of it. It's so annoying. So this is actually one thing I don't like about a lot of my old pieces, is that I didn't know how to shade, even though cell shading isn't that hard. It's really not hard at all, but I didn't know how, and I didn't bother trying to learn for quite a long time. I'm still learning how to shade, and I just started adding like really intense shading sometimes. So yeah, but it looks so, oh, shut up phone. It looks so flat. Another common thing I see in a lot of my old stuff is that I didn't know anything about color theory. I know a little bit more about color theory now, and some colors that, you know, go together well, but I didn't back then. So I just used like the same like hue of everything, which makes the drawings not very interesting to look at. Isn't so much a pet peeve as it is just something I shouldn't have done, needed to improve on. So I put her hands sort of behind her dress and just drew blobs where her fingers should have been. It's because I didn't know how to draw hands. And I wasn't gonna even try to learn because I was just drawing for fun, you know? So I didn't even bother with them, and I just hid them behind her dress. And I think a lot of artists do that. But we should try to draw hands even if they're crappy. Like the hands I draw now, they're crappy, but I try. So as you can see here, when I'm finishing up and starting on the background, you can see that like she sort of blends in with the background, and my method of trying to make her pop out of the background was just filling in a white layer behind her. I'm not sure if I even did that in this piece, but I think I did. Yes, I did. And I don't know, there's just better ways to do that. What I do now is put like a shadow maybe behind her, that, or just make the background less similar, because it was the same colors as her hair, which is why it blended in so much. So the last thing I have to say about this piece that I didn't really like is I didn't know about layers, even like multiply layers and divide layers, overlay layers, whatever. I didn't know about those. I didn't know what they were or how to use them. And so which is another reason I couldn't shade. So for when I needed to line something out, even with the lineless style, you need to add like definition between her neck and her face, for example. So my solution to that was putting just like a black line over what I needed lined and putting it on 50% opacity. Maybe don't do that. So if you liked this video, that's awesome. You should tell me what you guys want to see, because I don't know, I want to make story times and animatics for songs, but I don't know. I'm not really good at animating, just because I don't like the process, just because it takes so much time, you know? Whatever. But maybe I could try it out, you know, see if it fails, then I just give up, or what happens. We'll never know until we try. Or if you want more videos like this, I don't have any old videos to critique anymore, but I'm sure we could work something out. Or I don't know, just tell me what you guys find interesting. Or do you want me to just shut up and stop talking and let you enjoy speed paints by themselves? I don't know, that's fine too, just tell me. I also need an outro, but I don't have one yet, so until I do, goodbye!